Hello, and welcome to PodGis. Oh, how long could I have held that face for, huh? Before you all scrolled away, before you clicked your ass away, huh? You know, retain. Hey, stick around. Stick around. There's more to say. I have more to say. Hi, hello, yeah, and welcome to PodGis episode 128. Yeah, 128. Once again, true to PodGis fashion, if you've been a listener, you know I don't check what episode this is until I've begun. And I always forget, and yet I always do it. And you know how, you want to know how I feel right now? I feel awash with relief because I just peed. And you just say, what do you mean you just peed? You just peed in your pants? No, shithead. I just peed in the washroom over there. But now my bladder is empty and we're ready to go. I'm going to try not to swear. I'm going to try not to swear as much. Committed to not swearing. Oh, boy, is it going to be tough. But we're going to do it. No swears. No swears. This is welcome to the no swear zone. With Valve, we're rebranding the no swear zone. It's gonna be PG. We're gonna promote this to church groups everywhere across North America. I am going to close the divide that seems to be growing between trans people and the religious right. Doesn't seem to be growing. It really fucking is growing. And that was not a swear. I didn't just swear. I said Fugg. F-U-G-G-A. We're going to replace the F word with F-U-G-G-A. You Fugg? Motherfucker? I'll try it. No promises. I'll do my best. Hello everyone. God, texts are coming in. No, I didn't pee myself. Why is everyone asking me that? No, I'm kidding. That's funny. I just watched a video. First things first. Let's just kick it off with a little funny thing. I just watched a video on Twitter of on the street interview. Boy, those aren't getting old at all. But anyways, it was an on the street interview of this loud woman who, based on her voice, I kind of assume either she was a drag queen or she was trans. She ran up to somebody and she was like, and she had an accent and she was like, what do you think of same-sex marriage? And the guy went, same-sex marriage? And she went, yeah, same-sex marriage. What do you think of same-sex marriage? And he goes, no. She goes, are you for or against? And he went, no same-sex marriage. And she was like, why? Why do you know same-sex marriage? And he was like, you cannot get married 6 times to same person. You cannot do that. And she was like, what? It was like, no, you cannot marry same 6 times to same person. And she's like, oh, no, same sex, like gender. And he was like, oh, yeah, yes, to same-sex marriage, yes. And he like corrected himself. He was like, oh yeah, if you are gay, yeah, go have marriage, it's good. But he was like, same-sex? And he was like, really staunchly, he was like, no same-sex marriage. You cannot get married to 6 persons same time. Just the most. How's that for a fun misinterpretation? That was really fun, and there you go. That's for you. I am back from Winnipeg. I'm back. I'm here, and I'm back from Winnipeg Comedy Festival, of which I did last week. I did my taping. I guess you guys are watching this. If you're watching this on Wednesday morn of the time that the pod comes out, then I am in the air right now. Look up in the sky. Maybe you see me. Maybe I'm there. Do you see a plane? Could be me. Is the plane heading eastbound? That could be me. is the plane? Do you live in like Montreal or southern Quebec or maybe even northern America perhaps? I'm there. Oh, speaking of, I forgot to turn my phone to airplane mode on one of the flights, and now I have an email from Kudo saying you are incurring roaming charges. So I hope my phone bill isn't $2,000 just because my phone was on 30,000 feet in the air. That would suck. That would be fugga not good. That would be quite a fugga up. A fug up. With a G. That's no, it's PG-13. Uh-huh. So, let me tell you a little bit about Winnipeg. Oh, but first, a couple notes. I wrote myself notes. Notes that say, OMG, off the top. 3 off the tops here. This could be a new segment, off the top, where I do addendums and corrections and what have you. To the last episode. So, let's take a look. All that ranting I did about baby reindeer and relating to the hero, I won't spoil anything, but I was only 2 episodes in, and I knew nothing. So I think, now that I've watched the rest of that series, again, no spoilers, I won't be spoiling, don't worry. But as the plot progresses, I think if you've seen it, you know which episode I'm probably talking about, but there was an episode that contextualizes the main character's choices, and even though it's very difficult to get on board, I think when I wrote that note in my phone, I wanted to distance myself from some of the things that were happening. So, just basically, as a comedian, as a trans person, I relate as a person who I've never been stalked, of course, especially not to that extent, but I am currently navigating a growing fan base who, in some small cases, tests my boundaries and test my privacy. So there is, and so I do somewhat on a very small, remote level, am also relating to the stalking part of things. But again, I am an oversharer, and I think my mistake is, par exemple, telling the general populace that I'm gonna get a boob job, and therefore opening the floodgates to people who are now messaging me incessantly with opinions about my boobs. You know? So maybe eventually I might learn a lesson in not sharing some things about myself. Could this be the lesson? Doubt it. I highly doubt it. Because getting a boob job to me seems like a very funny, interesting adventure, just rife with comedic potential. And so you bet your ass, I'm gonna probably talk about it on stage in this PodGis. You can bet your, is ass a swear? No. You can bet your boots. Check this out. Look. Here's my Winnipeg pass. There it is. Performers, Alval. There's proof that I did it until you see the footage in a year or two. I don't know. It's Canadian TV. The turnover on one stand-up. By the time it comes out, I will be a completely different person, which was the case for Halifax. I went to Halifax 2 years ago. I did Halifax. And they only played my episodes like a month ago. And I'm about to do Halifax again. So the turnover rate for Halifax sets is 2 years. You're going to see bits that reference how far in my transition I am. And when the footage comes out, it will have been 2 years after. You know what I mean? So a lot will have changed. I will have matured as a woman. Matured. I will be a different... Who knows? Who knows? By then I might have great big bazongas. And I might just want to talk about it even more. So really, on that note, maybe I talk so much about my bazongas. Maybe I'm just bringing on I think, yeah, maybe just my invitation. It's the way I talk about it is an invitation, since I'm such an open book that people are like, oh, then she won't mind if I ask her a question or two. And sure, of course not. But some people are now commenting on like all of my pictures on Facebook to be like, I could just imagine your breasts. If they're too big, then you won't wear this dress properly or something. And it's like, all right, why don't you close the phone or the laptop or your computer and go do something else that doesn't involve you thinking about my tits? Why don't you go enjoy a puzzle or something, some kind of activity that doesn't involve you thinking about my boobs? Okay, I've resolved not to complain about my listeners and viewers anymore. But I gotta just, sometimes gotta get it off your chest. Is that a pun? Sort of. Not like, it wasn't clever or nothing. It was just, because it was not even a double entendre. It was just the mere mention of a chest while talking about boobs. It wasn't really a good pun. Anyways, next off the top, more video game ideas. Oh, let's save that for later. That's a later off the top. Or is it a now off the top? Also off the top, are you not retained gladiator moment? I don't know what that means. I don't know if I already talked about this, or if I if I wanted to elaborate and I didn't write more. I think this is referring to, I'm pretty sure I talked about this on the podcast last week, where I imagined a gladiator scenario where he kills a bunch of people in the ring, and then he looks up and everybody's on their phones and he's like, are you not retained? If this is the first time you've heard this and you listened to the last episode, then there goes the cool premise or the joke. But if I'm repeating myself, then then what was the point? All right, and we're gonna decide. I am determined to write more thorough, off the top notes for myself. Look, if I'm gonna watch all of this over again just to do the description or the captions or whatever, not the captions, do the description, then I should probably be more thorough in the follow-up notes that I take. If I'm already dedicating all my spare time to this, then maybe. Okay, let's do another off the top video games. I wanted to build more. If you just stopped listening, if you just finished listening to the last one, here comes more video game stuff. I thought it was funny, the idea that if you've played video games before, you know that your character, in an extreme most cases, in most cases of video games, you could go to whatever store or market or merchant and sell your stuff. Sell stuff in your inventory. Indiscriminately sell your stuff. Like if it's the blacksmith, you could go in there and be like, here, I want to sell you, I want to sell you this jewel I found. I want to sell you some of these weeds that I plucked. And so, can you imagine walking into McDonald's and there's this huge lineup because the person at the front is he put a whole wheelbarrow on the counter and he's like, how much for this? And they're not even skipping a beat. They're like, $20 for that wheelbarrow. We'll buy it for you. Well, yep, give us that wheelbarrow. He's like, deal. And then the McDonald's worker, who's still getting paid minimum wage, mind you, I'm sure. In this universe, financial injustice and the wage gap are still just as prevalent in this fictitious universe that I've created in this video game world. the wage gap is still just as bad, and our lowest wages are still just as low. Anyways, the minimum wage high school worker takes a wheelbarrow and goes to the back and puts it in some room that's full of fucking chains and swords and vitamins and all kinds of. It's just a oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Junk. It's just a room full of junk. The CEO of McDonald's just be like, I don't know, we could keep this up if everybody's going to sell all their stuff to us. You know? And then you buy a whole chicken from McDonald's, so it evens out. You know? Go to McDonald's and sell them a wheelbarrow. I just really badly wanted to say that. You know? There was a guy on the subway today who flirted with me. And I don't know if he knew I was trans or not. It's hard to tell. Right now, my voice doesn't sound all that great, but sometimes I get in the pocket. Sometimes I get right in the pocket. I'm right in the pocket. And I think I sound splendid. Sometimes when I'm on the subway and it just, I don't know, it sounds like kind of not, it doesn't sound very good now. Every time I need to like summon it for someone to demonstrate, it just doesn't happen. But anyways, I thought I sounded very elegant and this is my daytime makeup. I was wearing this. It's hard to tell. She said I had beautiful eyes. That's nice. That's nice. I always presume everybody knows. I think he knew and was being nice. I think I'm clocky as fuck. Fugg, oh no! I'm gonna start a coin jar. How do you start your own coin jar? Because aren't I just sort of paying out to myself? I guess I could like donate that money, but I don't want to do that. Anyways, I'm just going to swiftly move from that idea. I don't want to start no coin jar. Maybe, if it gets bad enough. Comment below if you think I should start a coin jar. And if you have any funny ideas of where the coins should go, of my coin jar. Who I should give them to. Should I just give them to a homeless? I mean, give me a funny answer, and then if you like, give me a more serious one if you have an idea. Now, please understand, I am reluctant to pull the trigger on this idea because I'm poor. You may think I'm rich, but I'm not. I just came back from taping a stand-up set for Canadian TV. That'll pay my rent for 1 month. I'm po. Canadian television. Boy, isn't it glamorous? Wow. You're on Canadian television? That is so cool. Oh my God, Canadian TV, that's nuts. That's so special. What have you been on? I was an extra on Murdoch Mysteries. And the spin-off, Murdoch's Sons Mysteries. And the other spin-off, Murdoch's Brothers Mysteries. Canadian TV is a spin-off after a spin-off after a spin-off of a spin-off. They find one series and they're like, that is successful, and they're like, this is good, do it again. That's everything that, just do that. Just that. Do it over again. Can we pretend? Can we do the same thing, but put another face on every one of the characters and just do more of that? Please. That's it. That's Canadian television. What am I griping about? Nobody's hiring me to do anything. I'm not on any TV shows. Let's talk about the beef between Kendrick Lamar It's Kendrick Lamar, right? I had a moment of white doubt. Yeah. From the makers of White Guilt comes White Doubt. Yeah, it's Kendrick Lamar, obviously. From the makers of White Guilt comes White Doubt. When you name a rapper and you don't even know, you might... Okay, so here's the thing. I know Kendrick Lamar is a beloved modern artist. I know that he is capable of profound poetry and often regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time. And I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm not. But you know how I like to poke fun at rappers because they probably take themselves the most serious of all the genres. And I think, listen, I am not denying that there's plenty to make fun of against Drake, especially the weird Millie Bobby Brown relationship. I don't know. Weird. There's stuff. Of course there's stuff to ridicule Drake about. Now, I like that he doesn't take himself too seriously. And I don't know what Kendrick Lamar's situation is. He seems pretty angry. But so is Drake a lot of the time. But anyways, this is the thing. I have no all this to say, I have no dog in this fight, but I'm a contrarian. And I'm going to say this just to be a contrarian because I know everyone is on Kendrick's side, and this is me not defending the weird underage whatever that shit is. Let's just set this aside for a second. Just so I could just let me be a shit disturber. Or a Fugg disturber. Whoops. Let me be a Fugg disturber just for 1 second and just disturb the Fugg. Let me do a Fugg, stir up some Fugg. I'm about to stir up some Fugg. And say that if on all social media right now, everything is about Kendrick said this about Drake and Kendrick said this about Drake. And every post is a new thing that has a million clever layers to it. All these disses on, is diss still a word or is that old? It's so, anyways, so many diss tracks with a million subtle lines, and every day is every post is a different thing that is layered with, it's so deep, this killer line. And it's hold on a second. Did Kendrick write an entire album? Did Kendrick write a whole album about Drake? Did he? Because if that's the case, if I have some rap fan listeners, please comment, please say something. But from my perspective, if you are that obsessed with somebody that you wrote an entire album about how much you hate them, then kind of they win, kind of. Do something else. I don't know. Rap about something else, maybe. I know everybody loves drama and everybody loves a beef and whatever, but why are you so it's the rent-free shit, man. Or sorry, crumb. It's the rent-free Fugg where it's this guy, you wrote an entire album about him. I think at that point you love someone. I am of the belief that if you hate somebody so much, it's a perfect circle. You come back around to the line between love and hate actually starts to get a little bit blurred because your obsession is so... your hatred becomes such an obsession that it consumes you. And maybe you love the feeling of the hatred that this person exudes, pulls from your soul. Anyways, all this to say, like I said, I have no dog in this fight. I don't know a goddamn thing about either of them. I'll be honest. I don't know a goddamn thing. So take all of this into consideration before you ream me out for speaking out of line. I'm just saying, as a contrarian standing way outside of this thing, it's very funny to me to think that you wrote an entire album about somebody being like, I don't like you. I really, really don't like you. And this song is about, I don't like you because of the way you talk. Here we go. Turn up my snare. The way you talk is annoying. It makes me so mad. If I sounded like you, I'd be very, very sad. You know, that typical really smart Kendrick stuff. It's like, track number 2. This song is about that one song that you made. I thought it was weak. All right, here we go. Your songs are weak. That one song was especially so. If you rapped any slower, you'd be the slowest of the slow. Man, I really don't like your rhymes, especially in that one song. It was not a good time. Like track number 3. Man, your SNL appearance that one time, there was a sketch in there that I really didn't like. Why do you think you're so funny going on SNL? And then track number 4. It's like, you are so obsessed. Track number 4. I don't like the way you invest your money. I believe I heard a rumor you put some money in crypto and NFTs. Motherfucker, what's wrong with you? Oh, no, I said the F word. Oh, I put another coin in the jar. At this point, I'm not putting in any more than a nickel. I'm not putting in anything else but nickels. Okay, have I exhausted the bit yet? I just think that's so funny. Track number 5. I love my mom more than you. Track number 6. Your birthday is on December 26th. That must suck. Ha ha on you. Your birthday's the day after Christmas. Oh, that's the worst day of the year to have a birthday. So anyways, I look forward to hearing a million more things that Kendrick said about Drake that everyone's going to decipher. And it's really just going to be about how he doesn't like his shoes or whatever. At this point, I don't know. Move on. If you hate someone, that's just what I think. Maybe it's just because I just deal with transphobia every single day, and then you follow up on their profile every once in a while somebody will say something that I'm like, oh, that's an interesting transphobe. That's an interesting angle. And then I'll look at their profile and all their replies are just vitriol towards more trans women, just calling them all kinds of things. And it's like, wow, what a sad life. That is all you do? You don't do anything else? You don't think about anything else? You don't occupy your time with any other thing? So I just, not to put Kendrick on that same level, especially because Kendrick had that song where he said the other F word a whole bunch of times, the one about gay people, but he said it in that context in a good way. In a way that made sense, and I applaud it. Now let's see a white rapper do that about learning why not to say the N-word. That's funny. Is that a funny observation? I don't know. Does Eminem get a pass? I'll tell my black friends. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about Kendrick and Drake. Boys, stop fighting. I hope you can figure it out. But also there's a part of me that sees that and sees a tweet hating on Drake and siding with Kendrick that has 225,000 likes. And it's like, I cannot imagine being that loathed and humiliated to that magnitude for whatever reason. Set aside the reasons, be they legit or otherwise. Can you imagine that many people laughing at you? Makes me a little uncomfortable, mostly because I think I'm an embarrassing person. And if Kendrick came after me, oh no, Kendrick, don't come after me. Oh, I didn't mean any of that, Kendrick Lamar. Oh, did I just start a beef with Kendrick Lamar? Oh man. Am I gonna have to do a rap battles against Kendrick? Do I have to put out a rap album about my beef with Kendrick Lamar? I'll tell you, I'll start with that song where he says the F slur a whole bunch of times. I'll start there. Yo, you ain't allowed to say that. That's our word. How would you feel if I started saying that would not be good. Oh man, that's really funny. Is it? I don't know. Like I said a few episodes ago, it's hard to tell. I will laugh at these jokes because the silence in my room, I feel like that is worthy of a lull, even if it's just from me. Anyways, at this point, if your entire album is about one person, whether it comes from a place of beef or appreciation, hey man, they're not so different. You got yourself a tribute album. Kendrick Lamar wrote a tribute album to Drake. Because this guy is really on your mind. Anyways. In the end, I just think it's one of those rent-free things. If you live in somebody's head rent-free, who really lost there? I mean, what did Drake even do to bring on a whole album of hatred? Other than maybe have a relationship with an 18-year-old. Ugh. But if that's the case, a comedian should do a diss album, a whole diss comedy album about Jerry Seinfeld. Yes! Can you imagine if comedians did that? Like, we got roasts, but there's always like a little good-natured ribbing. I mean, sometimes they do get a little tense and a bit real, but like, comedian beef should also be in albums, just like rap. Or some comedian, not me. All right, I'll do it. Whatever. I'll write a whole album about Jerry Seinfeld. Especially after the bullshit he's been on a press junket lately. He's on the side of anti-woke. Good for you, Jerry. Yeah, your puff jacket sketch, your puffy shirt episode of Seinfeld really pushed the envelope, didn't it? What a challenging show Seinfeld was. You couldn't do Seinfeld today. Couldn't do that. You couldn't do an episode about stealing a cinnamon babka from an old lady. Not today, you can't anymore. It's too woke. You can't steal a cinnamon babka from an old lady in your sitcom anymore. Because Jerry Seinfeld said so. Because he brought his fucking toothpaste bit to Concordia University and they booed him. And now he's on every fucking podcast talking about how comedy is dead. Okay, Jerry. Okay. Comedy's too woke. I can't go up and talk about airplane food anymore. Why won't they let me talk about airplane food? What's the deal with university audiences? University audiences? They don't laugh at the same thing anymore. Probably is it because I'm 75 years old? No, couldn't possibly be. Fuggin'. Oh, do I owe like 20 cents at this point? 4 nickels. That is, yeah. That was a good riff. This is why I want a producer. I wish I had somebody writing these things down and time marking them. Oh, I'll time mark. 32 Seinfeld riff. Who knows? Maybe I'll turn this into a clip. Please excuse the pause. I just gotta write it down. I'm trying to be more... I was thinking all this stuff that I like to do the most, like Instagram stories, and like PodGis, it's not positioned to gain me new fans. Like that sort of stuff. Nobody follows you from Instagram stories. This is clearly, I'm not like paying enough money or attention to growing my audience here. This is purely like for me and for anyone who digs this kind of stuff, who's already a fan and like wants more. It's so not lucrative, and it is so just for the love of the game that where was I going with that? I was just thinking like I do this stuff because it's fun. I do. It's fun. I do this stuff because it's fun, and that also means, but I should be trying hard to do expansive stuff like clipping riffs, but also the voice in my head that goes, well, that wasn't funny enough. Nobody's gonna watch that video. I don't know. Depends on how I clip it, probably. But also, it also depends on like set design and video quality. And those are things that I would have to invest in. Am I ready to do so? I don't know. Probably not. Otherwise, I would have done it by now. Maybe when I get paid by Winnipeg Comedy Festival and Halifax, maybe I'll set some aside. Although I'll have to pay a lot of tax on those. So there goes that bunch. And then the rest is going to have to go to rent. So there goes that much. And now I don't have anything. Whatever. Enough money ranting. Let's move on. Character time. Character guess. Character guess. Yay! I have to breathe. Breathing. Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to PodGis. We're about to do characters. We are about to start the character program. Here we go. Okay, this is a character bit, but it goes on and on. Oh no, there are two. I got two. Two this week. I should have a theme song. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Drake, I didn't like your hair on the one music video. It was cut too short. The line wasn't straight. It was kind of diagonal. You fool. Who's your hairdresser? I don't like your hair. I don't like your haircut. I don't like your hair. That's the hook. I don't like your haircut. I don't like your hair. Drake, this view. I don't like your haircut. Drake, I don't like your hair. Here's all the other stuff I don't like about you. Oh, man. Funny. Okay, character guess. Here's a character idea. It's quick sip of water. Water break. Chug a lug, everyone. Chug a lug. Get your chug on. Chug a choo choo. I don't think this one's going to be an hour and a half. I mean, why would I say that? It doesn't matter to you, because you can already see how long it was, because you are in the present and I am in the past, even though I'm in my present right now. But who knows how much steam I have? Oh, I always got steam. I got more steam and moxie than I always imagined. Anyways, okay, here we go. Character number 1. An undercover cop who seduces the female gang leader, and they have sex. He's like trying to get, I don't know, to the top to get secrets or whatever to bust the gang, and he seduces the head gang leader, and they have sex, but he's wearing a wire and he insists on keeping his shirt and his pants on. So he just kind of pushes his dick through the pee hole of his jeans. He just has awkward sex with the leader of this gang through the jean hole. And meanwhile, he's got an earpiece in, and the guy in the van, his partner in the van, who has a live feed to his ear, is just like, "Give it to her, Johnson. We don't want her to suspect you're not into this." And he's like, while Johnson is on the inside having fully clothed sex with this naked gang leader, just feeding his dick through his jean hole. His partner's in the booth like, don't screw this up. We've never been closer. Come on, you really need to sell it. Give it to her good. While he's like fucking her through his jeans. Come on, Johnson, you can do it. Focus. Focus, man. She's like, I can kind of hear. She like goes to nibble on his ear. She's like, I want to nibble on your ear. He's like, don't do it, Johnson. Don't let her nibble on your ear. Oh crap, that was close. Why won't you take off your shirt? Because I got scars. Girl, I don't know if you're ready to see these scars. And she's like, oh, mysterious. I want to know all about your mysterious past. Why is the gang leader so, like, soft and... Well, because you seduced her. You made it all the way to the top. Come on, Johnson, give it to her. We've never been closer. Don't screw this up. Yeah, give it to her good. All right, now come. She's starting to suspect something. We need you to come. Why are you taking so long to come? You gotta come, Johnson. Do it. Anyways, that's that premise. I don't know what else I can say about that. I don't know, they're having sex with the window open. She, like, looks out the window. She's like, that van is kind of suspicious. And he's like, don't worry about the van, baby. Focus on me. Yeah. You can't say anything anymore. Can't say it on TV. Well, comedy has ruined sitcoms. Fuggin' with a G. How oblivious an old man can you be? Like, I could go on for this entire podcast just listing shows that discredit his point, that contradict what he says. Fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia is what, in its 17th season? Give me a break. You can do what you can do, what you used to be able to do. You can do a lot. You can do a whole lot more. Jerry, you weren't allowed to swear in your show. You absolute doorknob. You old man. Get out of the way. I loved this show. I'm a big fan of Seinfeld. It's hilarious. But don't go thinking that it's absurd. These old people are just so out of touch. I pray, please bookmark this moment right here at minute whatever this is, 44. I always have to add the intro to this, so the clock right there isn't right. 44 minutes or whatever this is. 43 minutes and whatever this is. I'm sure it's 40. I don't fucking bookmark this. Quote me on this. I pray. No, you know what? I'm going to say definitively. I am not going to be the out-of-touch comedian who reaches that point where I'm fuming about you can't say anything anymore. I will never be that fucking person. It's just not going to happen. Unless my career takes a nosedive, and then I probably will, because it seems like such a good racket to complain, to prescribe your career's slow descent, to prescribe responsibility for your career's slow descent on the youth, and how sensitive everyone is. That seems to be such an easy scapegoat. Bro, your movie is about Pop-Tarts. Unless you fuck a Pop-Tart, I'm sure your movie isn't all that challenging. You can't say anything. You can't say anything anymore. We had to cut the Pop-Tart scene. You can't say anything anymore. They had to cut the scene where I fuck a Pop-Tart. Oh, that's another good clip. I'm gonna write that down. That's more Seinfeld riff. That was like 12 minutes of Seinfeld riffs. Oh, I don't have time for this. Anyways, here's idea number 2. Um, here's character premise number 2. You know, for somebody who does such a, I think, good impression of Seinfeld, I've been complimented on it before. It comes easy because I really do. The way I inflect my voice is very Seinfeldian. I'm not gonna lie. It has that cartoonish, yelpy crack to it, and I'm gonna someday I'm gonna make peace with that. Maybe. Otherwise, you know, I'm just gonna have to fucking. All right, character number 2, football center. If you know your football, a football center who's super ticklish. You know where this is going? So every time the quarterback slides his hands under the center's chode or his taint, he kind of flinches a little bit, and then he gets called for encroachment because his little flinch makes the other team jump the line, and then he keeps getting penalized for encroachment because every time the quarterback slides his hands under, he goes, huh, and it makes encroachment happen. That's one for the football fans. You know what? If you don't know what encroachment is, that's not important. I mean, if you know what it is, it kind of enhances the joke. But all you need to know, you don't even need to know the rest. Just picture how funny it would be if you were watching football with all the rules in your head that you know. You don't have to know any more rules than you do right now. You're watching the Super Bowl, and you know what? How about the center isn't even always ticklish? Maybe he just got caught by surprise one time. And you're watching football, and as soon as the quarterback goes and slides his hands in, you see the big guy in the middle go, huh, and he jumps a little bit. And then let me do that take again for the reels. Imagine you're watching the Super Bowl and the quarterback slides his hands under the center's chode, and then when you see that the center goes, huh, and he like jumps a little bit because he's ticklish on his taint. And then they get called for encroachment because his little jump scare there, his little ticklish little hop, encroached the defense. Am I doing this right? Did I get the right rule? I don't know. I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that's right. Would you believe that I played football for 2 years? And by played, I mean I played for 1 year, and then I severely pulled my hamstring and was on the bench for like over a month, and I prematurely came back and I convinced myself that I was ready, and then I immediately pulled it again and basically rode the bench for the second year that I played football. And did you know that the year after that, I tried out for the varsity football team at my University of Western Ontario, which I think is just I think it's just called Western University now. I think they changed it. But anyways, I tried out for the football program, which if you know anything about Canadian football, they have one of the best, at least in Ontario, I think. I don't know if that's still the case, but they are always like a football school. And I tried out, and I didn't make it past the first cut because I pulled my hamstring again. And I ran I didn't even break 5 seconds on the 40-yard dash. It was the most miserable 40-yard dash I've ever had. 5 seconds. I couldn't even do 5 seconds because I was still recovering from a hamstring injury. My fastest time, I ran a 4.4 when I was a youngin'. And if you know anything more about football, you know that that's lightning fast. I'm so fast. Okay, anyways. Oh, man. Okay, that's the end of CHARACTERGIS. Whoa, we're down to like, what have just time flies when you're podgising. It does. So let's talk about Winnipeg. Okay, I want to do one really quick one. Oh, I have so much to talk about. Wow, what a backlog. Let's talk about Winnipeg Comedy Festival. There it is. There's the pass. Gonna show it without the sheen. Ta-da! Here, I'll even do this. I'm gonna turn the camera so you can see me hang it on my trophy case. Here we go. Watch. Yay! Oh no. Sorry to... Oh, whoop. There we go. That's the new camera angle. That's it. Sorry, everyone. This is the new PodGis angle. Okay. Here I go fixing it. Was it worth it, Avagis? Yeah, it was. So there it is on the trophy case. Let me tell you some observations about... So, by now, this is... Let's count my tapings, okay? Indulge me, please, for a moment. New wave of stand-up, 2021. Next up, stand-up show with John Doerr. Same year? 2021? No, 2020. The next year. No, that was 2021. Halifax Comedy Festival, 2022. 2022 was also... So 2 tapings in Halifax. Right, okay. New wave of stand-up. Stand-up show with John Doerr. Halifax, boom boom. Joe Coy, 5. Winnipeg, 6. And now 2 more in Halifax. So after next week, it will be 8. 8 television tapings for stand-up. It's pretty good. For a youngin' like me, in Canadian entertainment, not bad. All in the span of 3 years? Get out of here. Or maybe those first 2 were 2020. Whatever. I get the years mixed up. But regardless, where was I going with that? Oh, so by now, you can trust that I am an authority in these things. And where do I begin? So, thank you, first of all, Winnipeg. I don't know if I'm sure nobody from Winnipeg or from the Comedy Fest is listening or watching. It was a treat. Next time, let me stay for longer. Don't fly me out the night after my taping. Book me on a couple more shows, man. Come on. There's a queer show that you could have put me on. Why didn't you let me do that? I could have been a draw. You don't know that. But I'm grateful. Anyways, I have learned. I'm so proud of myself for that very first taping that I did. First Canadian taping. So nervous. Of course. It was my first opportunity. And holy mackerel, I was nervous. But despite that, I still made a decision. I still made a promise to myself that every taping that I did henceforth would be as me as possible. I would not compromise who I was on any of these stand-up tapings. And who am I? I like to improvise and be a goof. And I like to be reckless. Not reckless. I like to be a risk taker. So in every... I committed to taking one... Same as like my principle from the very beginning of starting stand-up. The idea was to always do one thing differently. Every single set. Throw in something, improvise something, Do something different. Never ever repeat yourself in the entirety of a set. Mess around a little bit. Be real. Stay true to yourself. Play. Be real. Be yourself. Take risks. Taking risks is a huge part. And that's why I get really disappointed in myself when I do a set and it might go well and the audience might have liked it, but I'll be annoyed at myself for not taking more risks. It's just a thing. I need to feel like I am growing, and the best way I experience that feeling of growth is by taking a chance, right? So I pride myself on that. And by now, 6, 7 tapings in, I've really settled into my confidence in taking risks and doing something new every single time and playing. I'm representing myself, and right from the beginning, I was like, the first taping, I was like, they hired you for you. They saw when you showcased your set that got you hired for this job. They saw you play. They didn't see you do a rigid, structured, and they've hired you for you. So give them you. Do not try and tailor your act or your persona or your brand to what you think they might like. That's not how this works. You stay true to your goddamn self always, first and foremost. So that's my advice to all the comics out there. Don't be afraid to take risks, and betting on yourself and just being yourself is a risk. Take it. Anyways, that said, so let me tell you a little story. So this is the thing. In Winnipeg, in every TV taping, I've come to realize that if you, quote unquote, screw up, if the magic of TV and the taping itself screws up, if you acknowledge it and play with it, you are only reinforcing the audience's support of you, because you're stepping outside of the situation, you're acknowledging it, you're doing it in a lighthearted spirit and being like, whoops. And as long as you reset and go back 1 or 2 sentences and say, all right, here we go, gonna do that part again, then the TV people are satisfied because they want you to get it right. They want the footage, so get it right. And not only that, but between you and me, they can juice the laughs, you know? Not that they ever have for anything I've done. Sincerely, I believe that. I have razed to the ground every taping that I've done, and you can count on that. You can bank on it. I am very proud of every single taping that I've done. Really and truly, outstanding performances, in my humble opinion. But where was I? I keep wanting to make a point and then forgetting. So yeah, it only reinforces the audience's support for you, because they want you to succeed. They want you to look great on TV. They want to be a part of it. They feel a part of the show. They're essentially a character in this television episode. So they want you to succeed. And so if you make a slip up and you say cut and you say stop, let's do that back, then they're like, fuck yeah, Fugg yeah, we are with you all the way. We're going to give you even more this time because we want you to nail it. So here's the story. I wore this navy blue dress that I was really fond of. It was classy, it was swishy, it was elegant, and it was a swishy one. It wasn't as form-fitting as I always do. It wasn't like a mini dress or anything. It was swishy. And so I was so excited to do a spin. I was spinning in my hotel room while I was wearing it, and I was like, oh, I love it. And I really, really badly wanted to do a spin so bad on television because I thought that would be so cute and fun. And so I was backstage, and there are all these workers, the crew are all backstage doing their jobs, and I'm being annoying kind of at this point, but they all seemed to enjoy it, but I was going from person to person to be like, I'm going to do a spin. I'm going to do a spin. I'm going to spin with my dress. When they introduce me, watch, put down what you're doing and come watch. and like, they all have a job to do. So they're like, it's fine. I got this. You know, it was fun. I made a big deal of this spin to everyone. And so I'm in the wings, and the host, who was the dad in Kim's Convenience, and also he's in Star Wars. He's a pilot or something. I don't know. I don't watch Star Wars anymore. But he was in Mandalorian, I think. Paul Hyung something. I forget his last name. But he was the dad in Kim's Convenience, and he was in Star Wars. Anyways, he hosted the gala. Did a great job, by the way. Introduces me. I come out on stage, and I try to do my spin, but my heel in my high heels comes half out of the shoe. So my toes are still in the shoe, but my heel is off the heel of the shoe. It's just floating. And it's really awkward, and I sort of hobble up to my mark on the center of the stage, and I like take my place, and I greet the audience, and I'm like, hi. And I don't know how many people can notice, like, it wasn't super pronounced, but so I'm like, this can be salvaged. This is kind of funny if I just try and roll with this. So with my hand, while I'm like doing my intro, while I'm being like, what's going on, Winnipeg? How are we? I'm slapping at my high heel with my hand to jar it back into place. And after 3 attempts, all increasing in like spasticness, just huge movements, it just wasn't happening. So finally, I was like, all right, can we cut? And I riffed on it. I was like, hey guys, I don't know if you noticed, but my heel came out. I really wanted to do a spin. I told everybody I was going to do a spin, and I did my spin, and then it made my heel jar loose, and I won't do a spin, but can we do it again? Can we do the intro again? Because I really, really wanted to do a spin, and I won't do a spin anymore. I don't know what I was thinking. And it was very endearing and very cute. And so, of course, they reset. They did it again. Bigger applause from the audience, because, of course, they were so charmed by that. And they were like, well, let's give more. I don't know. It really does reinforce support. There's something magical about redoing a moment in a stand-up set. Trust me. That doesn't mean screw up liberally, but, you know. And so, yeah, this time I didn't spin. But me being risk-takey, always present, always playful me, I wish I could remember what context, but in the middle of one of my jokes during my set, I improvised and wove in a line about humiliating myself doing a spin, and I dropped it like organically in one of the bits, and the audience went nuts. It like got a big applause break because it was such a special thing to like take. It was like a wink inside joke to the audience, but it fit the material that I was doing somehow, and it was just, I was very proud of myself at how like cleverly it fit. And so that was a real like baller move in my head. I was like, oh kid, you're good. You're good. You are good. And then there was another part. Again, I'm not encouraging you to screw up, but if you are going to screw up, do it Alval style. Do it Avagis style. Because at one point, as you know, I'm trying to work on my swearing now, and this is part of the reason why, was I let slip an F-bomb, and it was in the middle of like the setup to a joke, and as soon as the CK popped, as soon as I hit that, I went, and I realized what I did, and I like melted to the ground. I went, fucking no. And the acknowledgement of it, I melted to the ground. And according to a viewer, whoever was running the spotlight, seamlessly, like, closed the spotlight, like dim the lights and close the spotlight around me as I sunk to my knees on the floor and shrunk to the ground, and was like, oh no. So like, huge assist to the spotlight guy. What a heads up play that was. Amazing. And like, so I made a big meal of the moment, and I just embraced it and like riffed on it with the audience as you would in any like live stand-up set without cameras rolling. Just like any performance, you mess around. You acknowledge these things when they happen with playfulness and grace. And so after I got my laughs in, popped back up to my feet, took a second, composed myself, and then just started from like a solid part in the bit that for post-production on TV, they would be able to edit it seamlessly, you know? So you will never get, I don't want to say you will never get to see that moment. I really hope, I'm going to be adamant about tracking them down to get like that footage, the full set, because I really want to show people these moments that are not going to make it to TV. These are the fucking magical moments that like make an Alval performance special. Everything you see on TV that I've done and that I do, there was always something happened. Maybe not always. The Halifax ones are more or less what I did, but I still improvised a couple lines and those made it in. But like the Joe Coy Gala, there was a whole screw up with the audio, and I played with it and I pretended like God was talking to me. Did a whole minute riff just because the audio fucked up. Oh, I'm proud. The last two tapings, shit has gone awry or askew or afoul. And your girl just like turned it into a moment. So I'm very proud. Winnipeg, you were amazing. I can't wait to come back. Trust me, I will be back. And when I'm back, I'll be back for longer so I can do more shows, so I can see your city, so I can enjoy more things. But that was really cool. That was super, super fun. Had a great time. Can't wait to go back. Next up, Halifax. If you're watching this, the first few days after the episode came out, I am currently in Halifax. And I'm doing 2 tapings. Hopefully I don't screw up too bad. But if I do, then I trust myself so fully now that I feel like there is no mistake too big that I can't recover from, you know? And I'm excited. I'm excited for those sets. I'm excited for my career. I'm excited for my art and just my abilities. I feel very proud. And I wish I was better at translating these things to you folks and finding a way to translate these moments in posts and in social media. Boy, I have a long way to go when it comes to my online presence. But to me, it's just, you can see these are the things that I value between this and between my Instagram stories. I just like being in the moment. I just like playing around and talking off the top of my head and just bullshitting. I love it. I don't want to do the gritty editing work in between the watching this whole thing back. I want to go play. I want to go play all the time. I just want to play. I just want to play all the time. Kanye, what's the best part of being a dad? The kids. That's my favorite moment. That's my favorite Kanye moment of all time. I think it was a TMZ interview. He's like in the bedroom with Kim. Is it old footage? He's in the bedroom with Kim and the children. And they go, Kanye, what's the best part of being a dad? And he goes, the kids. and he looks. He's not even looking at the camera or at the interviewer. He just kind of pops up, stares at the wall, and like sort of robotic, but still a robotic smile on his face. Hey Kanye, what's the best part of being a dad? The kids. Why is that so funny to me? I'll tell you why. Because that's not an answer. What's the best part of being a dad? Yeah, I think in order to be a father, in order to qualify you categorically as a father, you have to have kids. That's like if somebody's like, what was the best part of your meal? The food. You're like, yeah, well, no duh. What are you talking about? That you're just sort of repeating the question back to me as if it was an answer. Does that make sense? It does in my head. I'm not articulating it correctly, but I think my example stands. What's the best part of eating? What's your favorite part of the meal? The food. What's your favorite part of owning a Lamborghini? The car. What's your favorite part of being on PodGis? Talking. The talk. What's your favorite part of being on PodGis? The talking. The talking. What other examples? What's your favorite part of stand-up? The performance. What's your favorite part of sleeping? Being asleep. Oh man. I'm trying to think of more examples. Oh, that's so funny. What's your favorite part of the Kendrick Drake beef? The feud. Oh man, I'm trying to think of. What's your favorite part of scented candles? The smell. I guess you could like other things about the candles. I just think that's so funny. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end it there because I'm tired, and I do have some more things I want to talk about, but like, it can wait. I've said to, and now my voice feels like it's grindy. I think by the end of these things, it feels hard to sustain. It feels so hard to sustain. Especially, I'm good at, okay, this is what I'm finding in my vocal training journey. Let me update you guys. I find that when I'm in public and my answers need to be brief and concise, somebody asks me something, or if I need to excuse myself, it sounds good because it's like, most of the time it's a bit of a whisper, but I don't know. By now, I think I'm mostly effective at getting the short bursts in. Sprinting. I'm a good vocal sprinter. Quick little sprints. Somebody goes, what would you like? And I'm like, hi, I'd like a Big Mac, please. No, see, even that one didn't sound good, but I'm starting to get tired. But, if it's quick, then I can do it a little easier. Excuse me. But you get it. If I have to say a sentence, then I think it comes down to inflection and using thing S's like this instead of the way that I do it. I should hire a coach. If only I had the friggin' money for that. Why is it so hard for our generation? Why did things get so hard for our generation? How come inflation? And how come wage gap? And how come generational wealth? And how come housing crisis? How come? How come all those things? Answer me that, government. Tell us why. Or I'm going to protest. Tell us why. I'm going to have a sign outside of Canadian Parliament just going, tell us why. Tell us why. How come? How come? How come? How come? How come wage gap? How come minimum wage? How come homeless crisis? How come immigration? How come inflation? How come gas? How come NASDAQ? How come NASDAQ government? How come Dow Jones? How come housing bubble? How come? Answer me that. Trudeau. How come the housing bubble? How come economy? Yeah. I'm a political pundit. You guys need to listen to everything I say, and you need to take everything I say really seriously, because you know what they say? Comedians are the modern philosophers, and everything that I just said was probably the smartest thing you've ever heard. So follow me. I'm going to start a cult, and if you've listened this far, congratulations, you're a part of the cult. The cult of Avagus. The cult of Fugg. F-U-G-G. How come Fugg? That's what we're calling this episode. We did it. We found a name. We always find one at the end because I don't think about it until the very end. And sorry about the junk in the background. I should clean my room before I do these. But I'm a silly goose and I'm not gonna do that. Maybe next time. But no guarantees. Wee! You know what I noticed about YouTube? It always makes a thumb. It automatically makes it. I'm gonna put these on askew just to be annoying. You know what I noticed about YouTube? I will upload. Oh no, it's settling naturally into place. I noticed that when I upload a video, YouTube automatically gives me a choice of 3 thumbnails. And the thumbnails are always me doing some big gesture with my hands. I've got both hands in there, and I'm making a big face. And you know what? I don't know whether to be concerned or impressed. Because here's the thing. I don't know whether to be concerned or impressed, because the AI or whatever, the detection, the algorithm, it knows to use big gestures, big faces. It suggests that as a thumbnail automatically. It always finds whatever frame of my video in which I'm being really big with my face in my hands and suggests that. And you know what? I'm both impressed and terrified, because God only knows the potential that this facial hand and also hand recognition will go towards the robots that will replace us and eventually be our overlords. So, why don't you chew on that, bitch, until I'm back next week. Thank you for listening to PodGis. That was me. You are you. And we are all children of the Lord. So go forth and spread the gospel. I'm going to start a cult. Let's get started. If you want to be a general in my cult, or an ambassador, some kind of high-ranking officer, I can guarantee you there will be sex. No cult is without good sex. So get in while the going's good, and you'll get some good sex. But I'm going to need you to spread the word to 5 people. Make sure, hey, if my listenership grows by, increments of 5, if I notice that there are, on average, 5 more viewers after 3 episodes, one of you can come forward and claim that you are the one to expand it to 5 more people, and I'm going to give you a good spot in the cult. You're going to be one of the generals, and I'm going to promise you some good sex, whether it's with me, probably not with me. I'm the leader. So, I mean, I guess I'm having sex with everybody. I'm the leader. So, sure, it'll be a little bit with me. And also, you're going to have minions. I'll get you some minions. If you keep on, I'm describing a multi-level marketing scheme. I'm describing a pyramid scheme. But hey, listen, it still applies. If you recruit 5 people and then you tell them to recruit 5 people, then by law in my cult, you get to have sex with the people you recruit. That is the rule. I'm sticking to it. Of course, we're going to need to sign consent forms, but we'll do it in fine print. So, no, it's got to be purely consensual. But that's a perk. If you tell somebody that they can have sex with 5 people if they recruit them, then they won't even mind that you're having sex with them because they're one of your 5 people. Think about that, okay? And that's why I'm a good cult leader, because I just sold you on a pyramid scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a good cult. We'll do all kinds of nifty things. We'll do puzzles together. Well, every Saturday we have a puzzle. We'll have a puzzle and fuck night. We'll have a puckle night. It's puzzle and fucking. Okay, anyways. I hope the way I've been wearing my sunglasses, I really actually hope that it's kind of been annoying you a little bit. Because now I'm just being like a sibling who's putting her finger in front of your nose or face and being like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That's what I'm doing. I'm not even looking at the screen. I'm looking way off over here. But my sunglasses are still oriented in a way. Boy, isn't this kind of like a Picasso painting? The way the sunglasses make it look like my eyes are kind of oriented a bit diagonally on my face. Okay, anyways, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in to PodGis. I'll look you in the face for this part. Thanks for tuning in. Tell 5 people you'll get to have sex with them. So how come Fuggle? Is that what I decided to call it? Whatever, I'll figure it out. You'll see the title and you'll know what I settled on. I'll see you next week. I'll have stories about Halifax. Yay! And then I'll finally have a couple days off. Oh, and oh boy, I can't wait. What am I going to do with them? I don't know. What's your favorite part of having days off? The time off. Oh, I should do that. Here goes another take. Because it's like Winnipeg. I'm going to do it again. And you're going to give me more energy this time in your response. What's your favorite part of... Oh, what's another way to even say... Oh, what's your favorite part of time off? No, what's your favorite part of vacation? The time off. Oh, I'm going to end on that joke. Bye. See ya.